It is that time again for a college football podcast with Dylan and JD Marsh.
What's going on, y'all?
That's JD. I am Dylan, and we consider ourselves a big deal, especially around the studio where we are the only people here right now. So, we have, I know I say this every single week, but we have another huge week in college football. And not just because, LSU, Florida, possibly getting moved from Florida to Baton Rouge because of Hurricane Matthew. We have one of the biggest college football rivalries ever between the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns. We're going to discuss that and the implications for both coaches with whoever loses. We have Washington versus Oregon.
We got Tennessee at Texas A&M.
We have a bunch of top 10 games, a lot of good SEC games. So let's go ahead and jump on that. But first, JD, I wanted to start it off with just something curious. I was watching Forrest Gump the other day. And while I was watching Forrest Gump, I was thinking to myself, he was an All-American, right?
Yeah.
Then I started thinking, was Bobby Boucher an All-American?
He had to be.
He had to be, right?
16 sacks in his first ever collegiate football game? I would think so.
Okay, so my question is, just thinking through, I saw something on Facebook, made me think. All right, who would win if Forrest, not being himself, was making fun of Bobby Boucher's mama, and Forrest had to go run to Jenny, and he had to get past Bobby Boucher? Who would win?
That's like asking me, would I rather have a payday or Snickers? I don't know. Honestly, I can't answer that question they're doing.
See, I spent a good 2 hours thinking about this. And I've come to the conclusion that crazy beats emotional,
honestly,
Forrest Gump. So I had to say Bobby Boucher just because how crazy he is.
Honestly, I just think Forrest might have a little too much speed for Bobby. I just think he might have a little too much speed for him, man.
But this is the same guy who tossed the football to the opposing player just so he could kick him in the end zone.
Yeah, I still think that he'd have too much speed.
But
Forrest is Forrest, man. He outruns a ball thrown by a collegiate quarterback without cleats on.
Yeah, that is true.
It makes Bear Bryant stand up and say, "Who is that?"
Hello, my name's Forrest Gump.
That's who that is. That's Forrest Gump. But
the local idiot.
Oh, it's just a local idiot. Now I got to play college football. All right. Well, I say it's Bobby Boucher. I think crazy. I think Mama boys definitely protect their own, I guess you could say. Well, they're both Mama boys, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Bama.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
So it's basically Bama versus LSU, if you think about it, though.
SC LSU.
Yeah, but it's LSU. It's a south.
LSU.
It's a south corner extension of LSU. So, all right. So Boucher wins, no doubt. So let's go ahead and get started here.
Our first game is Friday night at 6:30 on ESPN. We have the Clemson Tigers traveling to Boston College. I'll let you go first, Dylan.
Okay, so you put this in our discussion topics, I guess, right? All right. So I had to think about it long and hard. I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. It was a tough decision for me, because Boston College is just so dynamic, and the defense and Deshaun Watson and but I think especially just coming off that win against Louisville, I think Clemson definitely has, I'm not going to say have a big head, but they're definitely confident. They're going to roll into Boston College, and I think this will be a massacre, I believe. So put me up for Clemson.
Yeah, I got Clemson. The reason why I picked this game is because, like you said, Clemson might have a big head on their shoulders coming off a big win against Louisville. But if you listen to Dabo Swinney in his press conferences, they they have limited the mistakes on their offensive end, have opened up holes for Wayne Gallman to make runs. Mike Williams is finally becoming as explosive as he used to be in the past. And Deshaun Watson, it just continues to show why I believe that he might win the Heisman now over Christian McCaffrey. But there's something about that Boston College defense, who's been ranked in the top 5 in the nation for the past 3 years, caught my eye. So that's why I picked this game. But I think Clemson will actually cover the spread of 16.5. I got them winning by 21 points.
All right. I say 32. Let's go.
All right, on to our next game. We have the number 6 Houston Cougars traveling to take on Navy.
So they're playing at Navy. I keep forgetting Navy's in the American Conference now. It fits. It fits perfect. As much as I'd like to go with the cadets and Navy, but I just can't, just because Houston's defense, I think, will be able to stop that wing T formation and the triple option. I think they're going to handle it no problem, just because how fast they are. Defense, and then Greg Ward Jr. will just go all over that Navy defense. Thank you all for your service, but I got Houston winning, not by a whole lot, but a good amount.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for everyone out there serving in our military. We greatly appreciate y'all. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to do this. We greatly appreciate it. But I'm right there with Dylan. I'm going with Houston because
weather forecast. 90% chance of rain, 68 degrees. So that's Navy playing with water on the field. They work with water, the ocean. They have ships. That's a game changer.
Are you picking Navy, Dylan?
No, I'm just saying that's a game changer.
I just think Houston's too talented on both sides of the ball for Navy to be able to stop. I think that Navy will get within 17 points, which is the spread that Houston has on them. I think it will be more of an 8-point ball game. But with how talented Houston is on defense, they'll be able to slow down that triple option attack. And then Greg Ward Jr. being able to run the triple option, read option, and even in nasty weather, I still believe he'll be able to throw the ball efficiently. And I think it's going to be a good ball game, but I have Houston winning too.
So Navy's quarterback, I'm not being sarcastic when I say this. Navy's quarterback, all the other stats, they're not very good, but they've thrown the ball 53 times already this year.
Got to mix it up a little bit. You can't have everyone know your playbook.
He's 31 for 53, 527 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
Dylan,
so I'm just very surprised that they're throwing the ball like that.
Well, the coach ain't Les Miles. You gotta throw the ball.
Who?
Okay.
Wait, who?
All right, let's just move on to our next game. The next one I have here down for us is the Indiana Hoosiers coming off a huge win at home against the Michigan State Spartans.
Upset right there.
Travel to Columbus, Ohio to take on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, well, they're going to the horseshoe. You cannot go against Ohio State against I don't want to say a podunk team, but definitely a team like Indiana. You cannot go against Ohio State in the shoe. Give me Ohio State by at least 14.
I got Ohio State too, but yeah, like you said, I think it'll be around a 14-point ball game. Ohio State is a 29-point favorite, so all your gamblers out there, take Indiana to get within 29 because they are legit this year. They got a quarterback that can sling the ball around. He's 79 for 127 yards. 79 for 127
Attaboy. With
over 1,200 yards passing and 9 TDs through 4 games. Rashard Lagwa, I can see them actually. Legal, my bad.
Sorry, just because you said log raw. All right.
I'm sorry, I only have one contact, people.
Oh, okay.
One contact in. But anyway, I think that Indiana will be able to move the ball, especially in the first half, because it seems like Ohio State can't get going until the second half, and that's when they'll open it up. But I believe Indiana will keep this game close till about midway through the third, and then Ohio State will pull away enough to take their starters out, and they'll probably win this game by 17. But, yeah, put me down for Ohio State too.
But the matchup predictor on ESPN actually says that Indiana has a 2.3% chance of winning this ball game. So there's a chance. So if you're a risky gambler,
you're saying there's a chance.
So if you're a risky gambler, you could win a lot of money off that. Really could. You never know. It's college football. All right, next game.
Next game on our schedule, we got the number 21 Colorado Buffalo traveling to Southern California, the USC Trojans.
So it's in SC, right?
Yes, it is.
And Buffalo, not Buffalo, Colorado, the Buffaloes, they are surprising the Pac-12 this year. They have actually, they're full of juniors and seniors this year, so this is the year to make a statement. But going into SC, you know, it's always seems to be a rough crowd over there in the Coliseum. But I'm gonna pick Colorado because I feel like this is just a year that they need to make a statement. This is a huge game for them because I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't have the history of this of these games in front of me, but I doubt Colorado's ever beat USC. Have they?
Not to my knowledge.
So I think this is a huge game for them because hopefully, you know, maybe so. This might be Colorado's, you know, path to get relevant again since they left the Big 12. So I'm gonna pick Colorado just because they got a chip on their shoulder.
I'm actually gonna disagree with you on this one, Dylan. I'm gonna go USC. Just the way they lost that Utah game, they had that game won. They played phenomenal. Utah they just let it slip away. They knew who they were and they let them off the hook. But I'm gonna go USC. I think they find a way to finally finish a game and finish off Colorado and get a W and put them back on the map in the Pac-12.
All right. Let's see what JJ or Juju Smith-Schuster can do against a Colorado defense. I'm very disappointed. In, you know, I'm not even a USC fan. There's so much hype coming in this year about him being the best receiver in the whole country, and he hasn't really shown up at all. Yeah, he's got 26 receptions, 320 yards, and 5 touchdowns, but you got to show up where it matters, and he did not show up he showed up twice, 2 catches against Alabama.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm sticking with the Buffaloes. Upset right there. Colorado's ranked 21.
It's an upset. USC is a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, but I'm going with Colorado. They got a huge chip on their shoulder, probably a Cheeto.
All right, on to our next game. We have the team to beat in the Pac-12 right now, the Washington Huskies, who are 5-0, ranked number 5 in the nation, traveling to the deadly crowd of Eugene, Oregon, to face on the Oregon Ducks.
Going into Oxon, Oregon, huh?
Yes, they are.
Ooh.
Oxon Stadium.
You go ahead, bub. You go ahead.
I am going to take Oregon to get within 8.5 points of Washington, but I'm going to take Washington and win this game. The way they showed me how they just dominated Stanford and slowed down Christian McCaffrey to where he pretty much wasn't even a factor in this game. I just strongly believe that I'm part of the board now, the hype board on Washington. I think they're going to win this Pac-12, and I could see them making a case to make the playoff, but give me Washington winning this game by 4 points.
All right. I'm picking the Huskies just like Tennessee this year, I feel like they got that magic. They got Chris Peterson, a great football coach. You know, starting to have a great recruiting class every year. And I think Washington's going to be a force to be reckoned with for a very long time. I'm going to take Washington over Oregon because since Chip Kelly left, it has been nothing for Oregon ever since. When Marcus Mariota left, it was the final fall for them. But I don't think Oregon is going to be. You know, the only reason Oregon's going to be relevant now is because of the uniform. So yeah, I'm picking the Huskies. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a really like nail biter. But I think Browning's just going to tear up that that Oregon defense because they cannot seem to stop anybody at all. They probably couldn't even stop our cousin Judge from running football.
Oh, dear God.
So,
all right.
but down the Huskies from your boy.
On to our next game. We got the Bayou Bengals of LSU traveling to, or will they be at home this week against the number 18 Florida Gators?
All right. Well, before we start saying anything about this game, there's been some breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
With Hurricane Matthew threatening the East Coast and hitting Florida first Friday night and leaving Saturday, like around Saturday night, around the time it should be cleared out of Florida, the LSU officials and Florida officials were, or at least who I talked to, Emily, who works for LSU.net down there in Baton Rouge, she told me that they were meeting and discussing if because a lot of people. First off, why do the people living in the place where the hurricane's about to hit? They always think, "Oh no, it's not going to be that bad," and usually it's not. But this is a huge hurricane, Category 4, and a lot of people in Florida are saying it's not going to be as bad as people think. But why don't people just leave though? Sometimes, But if this is the case of where if they move it back to Sunday, they're talking about moving the game back to Sunday, or bringing the game Saturday to Baton Rouge and LSU doing what they did for South Carolina last year with everything from the game going to Florida like an actual Florida home game. So I don't know if there's any implication on the game. There is, but if they come to Baton Rouge, it's going to be like the South Carolina game where not a lot of people showed up because they want more Florida fans in there than LSU fans to make it more like a home game. So, but I think if they come to Baton Rouge, LSU is going to win. But if they go down to Florida and Ed Orgeron drives his Hummer down there and he drives his Hummer down to Florida with Etling, with Geis and Williams coming off. I think LSU's going to win regardless where they played or if Fournette even plays, because in the LSU podcast, as we talked about with John Boy and Adrian, Missouri's no pushover. Missouri is one of the top 5 defenses in the country and the top offense. In the SEC, and the top offense in the SEC scoring, and they got held to 7. So I think LSU is fired up coming in. Ed Orgeron has this team ready to go. So I'm picking.
Hey, Joe, I just love my Hummer.
I'm taking. That was a very late delay. I don't know what happened there, but I'm taking LSU in the Swamp or Death Valley, wherever. Because let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. I think LSU can destroy so many playoff hopes for some teams this year in the SEC with A&M, Alabama, and all these other. What's that for?
Missouri? Are you kidding me?
Oh, this is not about Missouri.
You're claiming Missouri to be one of the top SEC teams in.
Statistically, they were in the top 5.
Statistically, Dylan, they haven't played anybody.
I said statistically.
Okay, LSU. This game, if it's played in Florida, I think LSU's going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But if it gets moved to Baton Rouge, yes, LSU will have that hyped up environment. The reason why I have LSU losing this game, if it's
okay, are you? Is this if Fournette plays or if either way they're going to lose?
Either way.
Okay.
I think that defense last year showed that it could slow down Fournette and that offense of Les Miles. Even if you open it up, that defense for Florida is good enough to slow them down. And last year, the only reason why LSU won that football game is because they threw that fake field goal out there. If they don't have that, the game's over. Florida wins that ball game. But I just think that crowd's going to be hyped up if it's in Florida. And I think Luke Del Rio will find holes in that defense, and he'll be able to throw to Antonio Callaway, and they'll have a huge day. And I believe that defense will shut down the run, and they'll force Etling to throw the ball, and it's going to be loud. It's going to be hype. So put me down for Florida.
All right. Well, you're writing it down, so you put yourself down for Florida.
And you got LSU?
I got LSU, and I think it's because of the way the offense is. Yes, you might bring up the case that it was against Missouri, but still, 42 points. And against 42 points against what they put up? 16, 34. 34 is against Jacksonville State, and 23 and 13.
Well, that's all Les Miles' offense.
Exactly.
And now Florida has film of Ed Orgeron's offense. So
I think Orgeron just spreading the ball out with Etling. I think one big thing I think is Etling needing because four times he overthrew 4 sure touchdowns against Missouri. 4. 2 to Durrell and 2 to
you do that against Florida's defense, he gets picked off.
And he overthrew them with the dude wide open. There was no defender around them.
Okay, then he can't throw it under pressure.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have any pressure.
No, I'm saying pressure to make the good throw. That's what I meant by that.
But I think it's this doing what they did against Missouri with just spreading the ball out, short completions, and letting the run game take over, I think that's what's going to lead the Tigers to victory. All right, next one.
All right. We got the Virginia Tech Hokies, who are ranked 25th this year, traveling to the number 17th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, who just came off a huge victory on the road in Tallahassee on a last-second field goal.
You like that?
I'm not going to lie. I was in Baton Rouge in the press box watching that, and whenever I saw that field goal go through, that 52-yard field goal, I went insane because just Florida State falling to North Carolina. No one sees coming, and everyone thinks Florida State was still in the running to win the ACC. And when this happens, and I saw Jimbo Fisher after the game, I've never liked Florida State, never have, don't know why, but I don't think that was a fluke. I think North Carolina is actually a decent football team, as we saw last year whenever they held their own against Clemson in the AC championship game until the final quarter. So I'm going to take the North Carolina. I was going to say Carolina Panthers, the North Carolina Tar Heels, because of their quarterback Trubisky. Trubisky is already at 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But you can make the same case for Virginia Tech's quarterback. He has close to 1,000 yards, 13 TDs, and 1 interception. That 1 interception makes Trubisky 1 interception better than Evans for Virginia Tech. So I'm going to I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't think there's going to be any defense played. So get the Tar Heels down there for me in Chapel Hill to win this ball game.
Yeah, I'm going North Carolina too. The sole reason why is because Virginia Tech, they haven't played anybody that, to my eyes, other than Tennessee, and they got blown out in that game. And North Carolina has just proven to me that time and time again that they play very good defense and their offense can move the ball at will with Ryan Switzer, who's Julian Edelman-esque to me. And he does everything, man. He can just punt returns. He has 47 catches already for 587 yards. He only has 2 touchdowns, but he's that X factor. Once he gets going, the whole offense starts rolling. And yeah, I'm with you. Give me North Carolina to win this game easily by more than 2.5, what they're favored by.
All right, next up.
All right, next on our list, we got the team that just lost to a heartbreaker to the North Carolina Tar Heels, the number 23 Florida State Seminoles, traveling down to their arch rival, number 14 Miami Hurricanes.
Number 10.
Number 10?
Number 10.
Sorry about that, folks. Number 10 Miami. Dylan, is there going to be another wide right in this football game?
I don't think Miami's going to let there be a chance for a wide right because Brad Kaya, who I have said since the beginning of the year is one of my top 5 quarterbacks in the country, is showing what he can do this year. 63 for 95, 935 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Stats not looking, they're not standing out. But when you watch him play and how he manages the football game and how well the Hurricanes spread the ball out and let Walton take over. And, the Hurricanes running back Walton, 8 touchdowns already this year rushing. And as you could see, I know it was Appalachian State, but again, I know I bring this game up a lot, but with Appalachian State, they're no pushover. We've seen that. And they won 45-10. And this is the same team that Tennessee had to go into overtime with, which I think is another big pointer to Miami Hurricanes. And they played this at Appalachian State and not at their home stadium like Tennessee did. And then they go and put up 35 on Georgia Tech, who's not a doormat. No one walks over Georgia Tech. And so I'm going to take the Hurricanes. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game because I think they're both going to rely on their running game with Dalvin Cook at Florida State and with Walton at Miami. But I think it's going to be the quarterback. And I think Kaya, who's a junior this year, is going to manage the game a lot better than Francois is going to be. I think Francois is going to try to make plays, force throws. So I'm going to take the Hurricanes in what I hope is a beginning of another great Miami-Florida State rivalry because I've always loved that rivalry.
I'm going to disagree with you, Dylan. I'm going Florida State Seminoles in this one because of the sole fact they showed me this year, even though it was against South Florida, that they just come out and they fix their mistakes that they make off of a loss. So put me down for Florida State going into Miami, Hard Rock Stadium, and getting the W against the Hurricanes.
All righty.
All right, and on to our next matchup. We have the number 1 team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide, rolling on in to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. I'll let you go first, Dylan.
Buddy boy. James.
Yep.
Douglas Marsh.
Yep.
I am calling the biggest upset of the year right here. I got the Arkansas Razorbacks beating the Alabama Crimson Tide, and I believe it's Fayetteville.
Yeah, it's in Fayetteville.
And little brother Allen is going to do what big brother Brandon Allen never did. He's going to beat the Miami Hurricanes.
The Miami Hurricanes?
Oh, my gosh. The Alabama Crimson Tide. Sorry, I still got that last one stuck in my head. There's nothing statistically I could tell you about this football game that's going to show Arkansas should beat Bama. And the matchup predictor on ESPN, 15.3% chance for Arkansas to win this game. But Arkansas has another great offensive line. And they have a great receiving corps led by Shreveport's own Jared Cornelius. And they have a great rushing game with Williams III, who already has over 100 carries this year, which I think the passing game is going to be a huge factor for the Razorbacks because, you cannot run the ball against Alabama. Alabama's weakness has always been their safeties and covering the deep pass. So I think Jared Cornelius is going to lead this receiving corps past the Crimson Tide for a 3-point victory. I think it's going to be an exciting football game.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite matchups this week. I'm glad it's a later game, so we can. This will be the sole game I'll focus on most with the 6-7 o'clock games, and I view Brett Bielema as the Rex Ryan going up against.
Is that a fat joke?
Bill Belichick and Nick Saban.
Is that a shy joke?
No, that's what I view this game as because every year, past 3 years, ever since Bielema became the head coach at Arkansas, he's just a hair away from taking out Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide, but he can't do it. It just seems like he can't do it.
But guess what? Rex Ryan shut down Belichick last week.
And this year, yep, he sure did. And this year, you got Jared Cornelius playing well. Little brother Austin Allen throwing the ball extremely well for 94 completions on 139 attempts for 1,232 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's playing very efficiently. And Williams III is running the ball, like you said, very well, but he has a lot of carries. And Cornelius, I feel like you said, will be able to get the ball. They'll be able to get the ball downfield and be able to do some damage to that defense. And Dylan, you picked Arkansas. I might just have to disagree with you there, sir.
Oh my God! I didn't see that coming.
How can you pick against Nick Saban right now when his team is just dominating on both sides of the ball? Give me the Crimson Tide in this one.
You want me to tell you my X factor?
Yes, tell me your X factor.
This is what goes on through the mind of Dylan when I think about football games. JD, I want you to look at the name of Arkansas's running back, Williams III. His first name is not Riley.
It's Raleigh.
It's Raleigh. And there's no name on Alabama. Yes, you have Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of puns that can go with that. With, like, Hurts, don't it? You know? And you have Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, that sounds like someone who's, like, a professor at Oxford.
Where are you going with this?
So I'm thinking that Raleigh is going to carry that momentum with his name. It makes you just, this rolls off the tongue, Raleigh. And they're going to roll the Crimson Tide to their first loss of the year. And then Alabama will lose one more game to ruin their playoff hope.
You are so
bold.
Out of your mind. You're so out of your mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is all the... Hey, someone's got to be the crazy one, right? All right, let's go. Next one, friend.
All right, and this one is close to our hearts there, Dylan, as the Oklahoma Sooners, who are ranked 20th in the nation, coming off a huge victory on the road in Fort Worth against TCU, travels to Dallas to take on their arch rival of the Texas Longhorns.
Ooh, okay, I'm about to get fired up about this one. Okay. So, before we talk about this, let's talk about, let's go ahead and give our predictions. Then we'll talk about what I think is why this is one of the biggest games of the year. So, you go ahead. You tell me what you think is going to happen.
I saw a stat last year.
I see plenty
during
of
the
stats.
game, and since '96, when Oklahoma is ranked and Texas isn't, Texas is 8-2, and now they are 9-2 against Oklahoma. But they're about to be 9-3 because give me the Sooners coming off a huge victory, getting their momentum back, and Texas is lost 2 straight. And I'm telling you right now, Oklahoma's going to be able to run the football on the Longhorns and get that offense going. And D.D. Westbrook is going to have a huge day along with Mark Andrews in the passing game. And Baker Mayfield is about to light this defense up. Give me the Sooners playing by 17.
Baker Mayfield plays. He did not practice today or yesterday. He has a boot. Okay, listen.
You think
just
he's going to?
Shut your mouth.
You think that's going to keep him out of this game?
Shut your mouth. He's going to play, but is he going to stay in the whole game? Because I think 3 out of the 5 games they've played this year, he's left the game with an injury, and it's because he makes plays so much, but he doesn't protect himself. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not very confident for Oklahoma in this football game. Just the sole fact because this is for both coaches. I think the winner of this game keeps their job and loser loses their job, because Texas has already come out and said, their athletic director already said that if they were going to fire Charlie Strong, it's not going to be until the end of the season. And then he was asked, how important is this Oklahoma game for Charlie Strong to keep his job? And he said one word: crucial. So that basically means Charlie Strong has to win this game to keep his job at Texas. But then you go to this side. You come to the Oklahoma side of things, and Bob Stoops, and how, yes, we made it to the playoff last year, but it did not look good, at the Texas game. And I think because this might just me wanting Bob Stoops out, But I think if Oklahoma loses, I'm not saying they will fire him, but it will start being tossed around, and the idea will be, I guess you can say, flirted with.
Oh, it's going to be flirted with hardcore.
So no matter what, it's a huge game for both teams, and all the players are going to be fighting for the players' jobs. But I'm going to pick Oklahoma to win because I just cannot pick against them. But Texas, I think, just has a humongous chip on their shoulder. One, because they've lost 2 straight, and because they've, their defense, Charlie Strong is taking matters in his own hands to save his own job. He demoted the defensive coordinator to the defensive back coach, and now he's the defensive coordinator. Because the past 2 games, they lost to Cal 50-43, and then they lost to Oklahoma State 49-31. So they've given up close to 50 points both games. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I think the X factor is going to be Mayfield stay healthy, and that Texas, the defense is just awful. They cannot defend the pass, which is going to be crucial with D.D. Westbrook and Mark Andrews, as you said, and with P. Ryan and Mixon, catching the ball out of the backfield off screens and little flares. But I think that's what's going to make Oklahoma win this football game, is because Texas defense is just, they've given up 50 points these past 2 football games against mediocre offenses that are not as explosive as Oklahoma. So I think if Oklahoma starts off strong, punches them in the mouth, and basically, takes control from their first drive, I think they'll be fine. But Texas is going to be fired up coming in because they won last year. And like I said, they're playing for the coach and also playing for their season, basically, because both of these teams really aren't playing for the playoff hope. I know Oklahoma, number-wise, can end up making it if things work out. But right now in their heads, it's beat Texas because they got embarrassed last year. So this is going to be a dogfight, I think. So we'll see how it works. But, I can't go against Oklahoma, especially at least in this game I cannot, because I cannot stand the Texas Longhorns. So hook this, Texas. Give me Oklahoma. I cannot wait till Saturday.
I can't either, man. And on to our final game of our pick'em, Dylan. The college game day, game of the week.
Just say it already.
We have the number 9 Tennessee Volunteers heading into Kyle Field to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Dylan, I'll let you go first in this one.
I don't know what it is about Texas, man. Okay. Well, first off, I'm going to play y'all something. Just because, I work in radio, and I love hearing the radio calls. And when Tennessee has this magic about them this year. Every game they've played in, they were down by double digits. And then they come in, and they always come back in some magical way and either kick butt or just barely win off of hell. That was the most insane ending I've seen in a football game in a very long time.
Have you seen the video
two
where
Hail Marys in 10 seconds?
Have you seen the video where they play Celine Dion?
Yes, Shitty. I was the one who shared that with you.
Oh, it was awesome.
But y'all listen to the radio call of the Tennessee radio call from the game-winning touchdown pass against Georgia.
Dobbs drops back, looks, loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary. I don't believe I saw that.
See, they couldn't believe what happened. And in the press box in Death Valley, talking with all the media people there, one guy had it streaming on his little Mac computer. I kid you not. I was in the middle, but I kid you not. There were 3 rows of people in a half circle staring at that screen. And when Georgia got their touchdown with, 10 seconds left or something?
I didn't get to watch it.
But whenever they got their touchdown, it looked like Georgia won. Everyone was like, wow, okay. And then I was telling everybody my theory of Tennessee and how they both proved it wrong and proved it right of how Tennessee isn't the real deal. But after seeing this, just the magic they have, this is the type of of things that have to happen, have to go in your way to make the college football playoff. So now I'm starting to believe in Tennessee. And and right after they caught that touchdown pass, the whole press box just went nuts, and people didn't even know what happened. All we said was Tennessee scored, Tennessee won, because everyone thought Georgia won, because people were saying, oh, Georgia beat Tennessee, but then there was a penalty where they kicked the ball off from their 20, so Tennessee got the ball around their 50. And, crucial penalties like that, stupid penalties, that's how you lose football games. So I'm now a believer with Tennessee, but Texas A&M and Trevor Knight has killed it with this offense. After leaving Oklahoma, being a graduate transfer, and he's leading this Aggie offense with, he's 98 for 181, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, only 3 picks. And Jazz Reynolds, also another, Josh Reynolds, the brother of Jazz Reynolds, oh man, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, stats. He already has 20 receptions on the year, 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So defense is going to be key. And I think Texas A&M's defense is just a small amount better than the Volunteers in good old Rocky Top. So this is a very hard one to pick. But I cannot go against the Aggies in Kyle Field and how the atmosphere there is so electric. I cannot go against the Aggies. So give me Texas A&M beating the Volunteers. But I think this is going to be just like the Georgia game. It's going to be to the end. So I'm not even confident with my pick, because I think this is going to be such a great football game.
There's like you said, there's some type of magic going on with this Tennessee team. They remind me so much of the 2013 Auburn team, where everything just seems to fall in place for them. The Hail Mary at Jordan-Hare Stadium for Auburn, the Hail Mary in the hedges at Georgia for Tennessee. It just seems like it'd be their year. But they are playing in Kyle Field, and with Myles Garrett coming around the end, getting a lot of pressure on Joshua Dobbs, and Trevor Knight being able to make plays on the offensive end, it's going to be struggling for Tennessee. So just give me the
gig 'em.
Give me Rocky
Dig 'em.
Top, baby. That
Dig 'em.
magic ain't going anywhere. Rocky Top's going to win this game somehow.
God, please, no!
Tennessee will find a way to win this ball game.
No!
I promise you that. Give me Tennessee, baby.
Okay. Why do you think? Is it a gut feeling? Or
Gut
is it,
feeling. It's just they are playing how the 2013 Auburn played. And I'm telling you right now, man, I've been telling you all year, Tennessee has something about them.
Say it with your chest!
And I just have a feeling that they're going to get through this game, and their defense is going to come up big, and Joshua Dobbs is going to make plays, and they're going to find a way to win this football game.
all right. Well, not confident with either. This is going to be such a good football game. All right, so y'all, thank you for joining us. This was one of my favorite podcasts so far, because this is going to be a great week of college football. So thank you all for joining us. Do not forget to like us on 1130 The Tiger. Do not forget to, don't forget to like us on social media at 1130 The Tiger. We will have our game of the week. Our game of the week is either going to be Benton at Minden or Bird at Houghton. So y'all keep an eye out for that, and we will be at that game live. We will